without trial. Sky News has obtained access to some of the prisoners, people who say they've been subjected to brutal treatment while their families have been threatened for trying to publicise their plight. Sky's China correspondent Peter Sharp reports.
Hired thugs do the dirty work. Another group of elderly protesters are rounded up and dragged off. Our cameraman is pummeled and harassed while the police look on. The people had come to Beijing to air their grievances and look for justice. Instead, they end up here, locked up in one of the so-called black jails. Hidden down back streets in improvised cells and locked rooms, out of sight and illegally detained, they've been subject to intimidation, physical abuse and even rape. Entitled by law to voice their complaints, it still takes courage to stand up for justice in China. Victims of illegal land grabs, police torture, corrupt officialdom. Each tragic story documented on scraps of paper no one wants to read.
These people have nowhere to go, no one to listen to their grievances, and now the government is using brutal means to silence their voice of protest.
In Wuhan, down in central China, steelworker Hu Guohong and his wife are on the run. Hu was dumped in a psychiatric ward by the police for repeatedly petitioning about the loss of 3 months' back pay. He was heavily drugged and subjected to daily electric shocks, over 4 times the safe limit, through needles connected to his head, hands and feet.
Pain. You know the feeling of pain when you are plugged into 220 volts. It feels like everything inside your stomach, your intestines, are turning just like clothes inside a washing machine. Everything is churning and jumping around.
He promises to take us to the place where he was tortured, but we never make it, stopped and surrounded by police and security officials. In the confusion, Hu and his wife managed to slip away while we're being detained.
There's a guard right there.
The next day we managed to reach the mental hospital. Here, filming secretly, we found others behind bars who told a similar story.
Some people in here are not even diagnosed with a mental illness. There are all kinds of cases, but most of us are not ill.
Late at night, I met human rights lawyer Liu Feiyu. It's 4 o'clock in the morning as we check ourselves into a cheap hotel to dodge the surveillance teams outside his apartment. He's documented the cases of hundreds of people illegally detained in this way.
The authorities believe that these petitioners will influence stability and might even challenge their authority. So they lock them up in mental hospitals. This is becoming a serious epidemic in China.
We wrote to the Ministries of Health and Justice to ask why mental institutions are being used as jails. We received no response. And still the petitioners keep coming. Millions file their grievances every year, a reminder of the government's social failings. But in a country like China, any demonstration that unites the people against the state can expect little compassion. Peter Sharp, Sky News in Beijing.